So far in this series, in part one, we've introduced you to the Stayman Convention, where a response of two clubs to partner's one no trump opening is a conventional bid. It doesn't say anything about clubs. It asks partner about their holdings in major suits. In part two, we looked at more examples of using the two club Stayman convention, and we looked particularly at using it for balanced hands, quite strong balanced hands, and invitational balanced hands. And we talked a little bit about when it's correct to use it and when it might not be. So we're going to have a look at a few more examples of those situations now. Let's look at examples of whether or not you should be responding Stayman. Your partner, in all of these situations, you're going to be given your hand, and your partner has opened one no trump, which in our system is a balanced hand with 12 to 14 high card points, and the opponents are not bidding, to keep things nice and simple. Okay, so hand number one, we have got 15 high card points. We are pretty balanced, but we've got two holdings. We've got two 4-card majors, so we've got 4 cards in spades and in hearts. Here we definitely want to use Stayman. We want to bid 2 club Stayman. Why do we want to do it? Well, firstly, we want to find out if there's a fit in hearts and spades, and secondly, even if there isn't a fit in hearts and spades, we know what the final contract will be. If there's no fit in hearts and spades, there are enough points for 3 no trump, so we can cope with any particular response by partner, whether they respond 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, or 2 spades. We know what's happening. We're raising a major suit to game, or we are playing in 3 no trump if they don't have 4 cards in a major suit. So 2 clubs is definitely our bid. Okay, hand number 2. It's another one similar to ones we've already been looking at. Here we've got 8. We have 12 points here. That's right, yeah, 12 high card points. So here again, we do want to use 2 clubs Stayman. Okay, if partner responds 2 spades, we are happy to jump to 4 spades. We've just about got enough points for game there. If partner responds 2 diamonds or 2 hearts, then we can bid 3 no trump rather. And number 3. Here we have got only 7 high card points, and so this is one of those situations where we need to be very careful. Whilst we might like to use Stayman to find out if there's a fit in either hearts or spades, we have to ask ourselves what happens if partner doesn't have hearts or spades, if doesn't have 4 cards in hearts or spades. What happens if opener responds 2 diamonds? And here, if opener responds 2 diamonds, we're rather stuck. We're not strong enough to bid on. We can't bid on, and so it would be wrong to use Stayman. We can't. It's wrong to use Stayman because we cannot tolerate all possible responses by partner. Here, a 2 diamond response by partner would make life very awkward for us to know what to do. So we must pass. We're unable to use Stayman because if partner responds 2 diamonds, we've got no sensible bid available. Hand number 4. So in this case, we have got 9 high card points, and we have got a 6 card holding in the heart suit. Here, it's not correct to use Stayman. Stayman we only use when we have at least one 4 card holding in a major suit. Okay, we would not use it if we've got 5 or 6 cards in exactly 5 or 6 cards in that major suit. So we would only use Stayman when there's at least one holding of exactly 4 cards. So here there is a correct bid though, and the correct bid is simply to bid hearts. Okay, we bid 2 hearts, which is a weak takeout. We have only got 9 high card points here. There probably aren't enough points for game opposite partners 12 to 14. Partner, we know we've got a heart fit anyway. We're not interested in Stayman because we know there's a heart fit. That's another reason why we wouldn't bid Stayman here. So 2 hearts is our standard bid here. We don't need to use the Stayman convention at all. Partner must pass. Trust our judgment that 2 hearts is a better contract than playing in no trumps. And the last example, and again, this is just testing your recall from things we've learned earlier. Here we have got 12, we've got 15 high card points and a 5 card spade suit. So again, we don't hold exactly 4 cards in any major suit. It would be wrong to use Stayman here. So here, the correct bid, if you remember, which we learned in lesson 6, is to jump to 3 spades. You don't use Stayman here. 3 spades here shows exactly 5 spades and 13 high card points. Partner now chooses whether to play in 3 no trump or 4 spades. If it would be absolutely wrong to bid Stayman here. You're not interested in whether partner's got 4 cards in spades. You only actually want partner to have 3 cards in spades for a fit. So don't bid Stayman here. That will just confuse the auction. Okay. So here's a situation where it's possible if opener, the person who opens one no trump, is not completely switched on, they might miss a possible spade fit, even though your partner has used Stayman. So let's have a look at this situation. West has got both major suits here. They've got 4 cards in spades and 4 cards in hearts, and they have 14 high card points. So 14 high card points and a balanced hand, we always open one no trump. Here's the East hand. Now, East has got 15 high card points, a balanced shape, but they've got 4 cards in spades. So they would like to know if a spade fit exists, because it may be better to play in spades, of course. So they bid 2 clubs, the Stayman inquiry. That says, partner, I've got 4 cards in a major suit. Do you have 4 cards in a major suit? Well, here, West has got 4 cards in both major suits. So it's always correct to bid the hearts first. You don't go on how good the major suits are. You're just confirming that you have 4 cards in a major suit. So don't be tempted to bid spades here just because your spades are slightly better. Okay, that's not the objective of this process. So here, you simply bid 2 hearts as West. What that says is, partner, I have exactly 4 cards in hearts, and I may have 4 cards in spades. Now, East is not interested in hearts, and all they can do now is say, well, if you have only, unless you can confirm spades, I'm only interested in playing in no trumps. So they bid 3 no trump. So what does West do now? Well, West needs to ask himself the question. Partner made a Stayman inquiry and wasn't interested in hearts. So what are they interested in? In other words, why did East use Stayman? Well, if you think about it, if they use Stayman and they weren't interested in hearts, they must be because they're interested in spades. So West should now jump to 4 spades, because East must have 4 spades, otherwise they wouldn't have used the Stayman inquiry. So here it would be correct for West to bid 4 spades rather than pass 3 no trump. And now we find a 4-4 major fit in spades, and that may well be a better contract for us than 3 no trump. It's quite conceivable that in 3 no trumps, if the clubs are arranged appropriately for the defence, it's possible that 3 no trumps would go off, and yet it's very likely that 4 spades will make. Okay. I want to briefly cover using Stayman when you've got weak, unbalanced hands. Remember, we said that you are allowed to use Stayman provided you can tolerate any response from opener. Well, sometimes with weak, unbalanced hands, we can do just that. Now, this is very much extension learning. It's not necessary to it's not necessary unless you are comfortable with what we've covered so far in the course. For most students, we've already covered enough stuff on Stayman, and perhaps you're feeling a bit overwhelmed. So if you're in that camp, you don't need to see this stuff, and you can file it for later on when you're a bit more experienced and understand the Stayman convention more. So let's look at some weak, unbalanced hands. Here your partner has opened 1 no trump, and these are all hands where it could well be appropriate to use the 2 club Stayman convention, because you can hopefully find your way to a better contract whatever partner responds. So let's look at the first one. Here we've got 5 hearts and 4 spades. Okay, so here it's actually very sensible to bid 2 clubs. You can actually cope with all responses by a partner. Firstly, if you bid 2 clubs and partner confirms they've got 4 cards in spades, then you have a 4-4 fit in spades and you would simply pass. If partner responds 2 hearts, the same applies. You would also simply pass as well. So you found a fit in either hearts or spades. What do you do if they respond two diamonds? Well, here you do have a bid. You could simply bid two hearts. Okay, that is still a weak takeout. It shows partner that you've got five hearts or five or more hearts and four spades exactly, and they and a weak hand. And so you're telling partner now that it's better to play in hearts than in no trumps, and they must respect your judgment and pass two hearts. You've already given them the chance to show a spade fit, you haven't got one, but they will have either two or three hearts, and the hand is likely to play better in a heart contract than in no trump. Here's another example. Now here we've got quite an extreme unbalanced hand. We've got five diamonds, four hearts and four spades, a very weak hand. If partner opens one no trump, we definitely don't want to pass and leave them to play one no trump. And the reason for that is because if we do, we may well be wide open in the club suit, and our hand is pretty weak anyway. Okay, so here if we actually work this through, if we were to bid Stayman, we can actually tolerate any possible response by partner. So actually it is appropriate here to bid Stayman two clubs. You can tolerate all responses. Let's work through them. If opener responds either two hearts or two spades, they're showing four cards in hearts or four cards in spades. You would be happy to pass and play in either two hearts or two spades, knowing that there is a 4-4 fit and your hand will be much more suitable in a 4-4 fit in hearts or spades, particularly because you can rough clubs, of course, with your club void. Okay. What do you do if they bid two diamonds? Well, if opener responds two diamonds, what that means is that doesn't mean they necessarily like diamonds, of course. What it means is they haven't got four cards in hearts or four cards in spades. So what do we do? Well, of course, they're balanced and they open one no trump, so they must have at least two diamonds. So we would be quite happy in this situation with our five cards in diamonds to just pass their two diamond response. Here, we know we would then be playing in at least a 5-2 fit in diamonds, possibly a 5-3 fit. Don't forget they haven't got four cards in hearts or four cards in spades, so they've got they must have a bit of length somewhere. So it's either in clubs or diamonds where they have length. Maybe it's diamonds, and we've even found a 3-5 fit, or even a 2-5 fit would be adequate to play and would be surely better than passing and leaving partner to struggle in one no trump. Okay, so two club Stayman would work here, would be a good bid, even though you're very weak. You can tolerate any possible response by opener. Third example, here we've got four cards in spades, we've got a long club suit. Okay, now if you think about it, we can use clubs here. And we can use Stayman here by bidding two clubs. Okay. Firstly, if opener responds two spades, then pass. You found the holy grail of a major suit fit. Your hand is very weak. You might not even make two spades, but surely you're much better playing in two spades than leaving partner to play in one no trump. So that would be a great contract. What do you do if they reply two diamonds or two hearts? Well, if they bid two diamonds or two hearts, then you simply bid three clubs. And what that says to partner is, partner, I have long clubs. I've bid Stayman, so I must have a major somewhere, but I'm now suggesting that the right contract is three clubs. And you should pass, partner, because because I'm weak. If I'd have been stronger with clubs, I would have jumped straight to three clubs in the first place, which was shown a strong hand. So partner should respect your judgment and pass three clubs. And that surely would be a better contract than leaving them to struggle in one no trump. Finally, let's just look at some situations where you can use the Stayman convention when you've got some strong unbalanced hands. This is something that a lot of players get wrong, so it's worth understanding this right. And here's something that even more experienced players sometimes struggle with regarding the Stayman convention. So we're going to look at a situation here where responder has got five in one major and four in another. So West opens one no trump. East has got this hand, so they've got five cards in spades, four cards in hearts. They have enough points for game. They have got 8, 11, 12. They've got 14 high card points. There is certainly enough for game. Either three no trump, four spades, or four hearts is the contract that East would want to play in here. So how do they find that? Well, okay, once we've got at least one 4-card major, we should always be using Stayman to help us find a 4-4 fit. So we bid 2 clubs, which is Stayman. If West responds 2 spades, as they would in this situation, because they've got 4 cards in spades, of course it's very easy for East to bid. They just jump to 4 spades, and when the dummy goes down, West is pleasantly surprised to find that there's actually a 5-card spade suit rather than just a 4-1. So that's obviously quite straightforward. What happens if the West hand was slightly different? So the auction might proceed in a different way. So here again, West has still got the right hand to open 1-0 trump, so they're going to open 1-0 trump. Same hand on the for East. It's the same hand here, so they're going to bid 2 clubs. Okay, it's that same 5-4 shape and enough points for game. So East bids 2 clubs, looking for either a 4-4 heart fit, or possibly for West to show 4 cards in spades. And if not, what are they going to do? Well, let's have a look. Now here, West gives you the one response we weren't really looking forward to, which is 2 diamonds. It says, I haven't got 4 cards in either of the major suits. But that's okay. East can still cope with this, okay? They now need to make the right bid, and that is 3 spades. They must jump, okay? It's important that they jump. If they just bid 2 spades, that would be a weak hand with 5 spades and 4 hearts. But here, because they've got a strong hand with 5 spades and 4 hearts, there is a game force on here. So jump into 3 spades is game forcing. West cannot pass below game. West now has to decide. What they now know is that East has got 5 spades and 4 hearts, and now West can judge the right contract. And here, holding 3 cards in spades, of course, the right contract would be 4 spades, and that would be the right answer. If West only had 2 cards in spades, then the right contract will, of course, be 3-0 trump. Okay, so the tip here is that that when you hold 5-4 in the majors, you still respond Stayman first. Now, there are bridge teachers who will come up with different ways to bid these hands, particularly when you learn something else in your bridge training called transfers. If you learn transfer bids, some bridge teachers will tell you that it's no longer correct to use Stayman, but there are still many experts, and the ones that I like to follow the most would still suggest that even if you play transfers, which we haven't taught you yet, and we're not going to teach you for quite a while, but even if you play transfers, you would still be correct to bid Stayman first. So it's good to get in the habit with a 5-4 that you still bid Stayman first, and that sets you up for the best way to find the fits and to describe your hand. Okay, so that's a relatively advanced concept here, 5-4 in the majors with strong hands, but I think you can see how you can use Stayman and you can still describe your hand really well. That's way more than enough on Stayman for now. There's obviously more to it, as always, and most of that comes with experience and playing. But I hope you've seen enough to get familiar with the concept. It's highly recommended. Everybody really that plays bridge plays Stayman, so you really should take it on board. And let me know if you've got any questions. Hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for now. Bye.